anyone who's experienced grief will tell you the first few months are the hardest. Grieving is a very individual experience, and how you grieve depends on many factors, including your personality, your coping style, your life experiences, your faith, like how much you believe and what you believe in, and how significant this loss was to you. So each person and each situation, and depending on who we lost or what we lost, it will affect how we grieve. And the grieving process takes time. Healing often happens gradually, so it cannot be forced or hurried for anybody. And there is no normal like that's why I keep telling you again and again that there's no normal timetable for grieving. And for some people, they start feeling better in weeks, some months, some years. Some start feeling better initially, and then after a couple of years they start feeling bad again. So for and also, like, this is often seen in uh, situations where, like, when the child is growing up, say for example, in a couple, the one of the spouses is lost and the children are there, and when they're growing up, the person who's alive is fine, they cope, they get well. And then when the child is getting married, or when they're moving out of the nest, they have they re-experience the entire grieving process again. So there is all grief is that complex. And so grieving process can be even measured in years. So whatever your grief experience is, it is important to be patient with yourself and allow the process to naturally unfold. You should not compare. Again, it should not be compared. So you have to respect the fear of unknown, and the fear of what is going to happen. What are you going to do? Are you going to be okay? That you feel, especially in the beginning of your loss. And try not to listen to what other people tell you, about how you should grieve. So there's no rule book. And there's one thing which is a surefire way to get into complicated grief, which will result in heavy mental health loss, and that is avoidance coping. So some people tend to build a wall between themselves and the source of the grief. So what they do is they envelop themselves in work. They focus on what they are doing, and they try to take their mind completely away from what happened. And or if they're missing the person, or if there are any thoughts about that person, they completely avoid it. And for them, it is a successful way of coping, but it affects them in the long run, because it will affect the way they trust people, how they can form new relationships, how they can go about their life beyond the grief. So that's the avoidance coping. So that is one thing we need to avoid. So if you know anybody who's doing that, encourage them to take a break from the grieving, but to definitely process it so that they don't ignore the pain, because this has to be done very early in the grieving process. If not, it becomes a pattern of their life, it becomes a part of their personality. So you don't have to be strong all the time. Everybody, like, it's a very common thing all of us say when I'm guilty of it as well. So when somebody is telling they lost someone, or they are going to lose someone, someone's very critically ill, we tell, be strong. But we mean well, but it's okay to feel lonely, upset, sad, angry, and all of those things that I told you that you can feel in grief, in anticipatory grief. Anticipatory grief is when you know that you're going to lose someone, but you're fighting it. So you can cry, and you have to choose activities, friends, experiences that release grief and fear. You should not, like, add to it. So this is where what can you do for somebody else? We'll look at that later. You have to make sure that you're not adding to their grief and their fear. You shouldn't be adding to it. And often people change as a person, their personality. They might get less social, they might become less friendly, they might be a more angry person. So you have to respect your individual self that comes with the change. And you need to definitely, with not just with grief, but anything mental health, you need to focus on one step at a time, the one day at a time. Like I know, like clients of mine will be saying, like they know the first thing I always say in therapy is like baby steps. Take baby steps. It's okay. Like if it's really small step, one step, it's fine. And then you fall again, it's fine. You just get up again and then focus on that baby step. So one day you wake up and you manage to do something that you have been avoiding, that's great. So one activity at a time. So another thing is, a lot of people are like, okay, they pressure themselves that it's like 2 months since I lost this person, this 1 month since, and I haven't gone back to work. If you're still grieving many days, months, years later, it is okay. But as long as it doesn't affect your normal life, it's normal everyday life. So you don't have to force yourself to move on from your loss. You have to move ahead with it. So you just have to keep forging your way forward. You're not forgetting that person or the thing. If you find a reason to smile in your life post that person or post that relationship, post that loss, just embrace and smile. It's okay. You're not forgetting that person. Your brain is trying to give you ways to get on with your life and survive. So don't compare yourself. So often routine is understated, underestimated. We all have like, okay, work from home, awesome. We are all having our own routines, our own way of life. We often do not have routines that we used to before. And that happens with grief as well. So once the loss happens, well-meaning relatives, well-meaning friends, okay, you sleep in the morning, you wake up all night, you're fine, it's okay. We completely mess up our everyday routine, and everyday routine is so very important in mental health. You have to have a routine. So, and you have to stick to it no matter how hard it gets. So if you say, okay, you want to wake up at 7 a.m., you wake up at 7 a.m. every day, even if it's really, really hard, you stick to it, because that's what you're doing for your brain and your mental health. Because once something goes wrong and you need to seek professional help, that's what we're going to tell you. First step, get your routine. So take care of yourself as you grieve. Your physical self needs you to, even if your emotional self is distraught, you need to take care of yourself.